under more pressure, Meyer or Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence. It would be Urban Meyer under normal circumstances, but as I was saying in the previous segment when Stephen A. and Booger jumped on me for talking about the hype around Trevor Lawrence compared to Peyton Manning, it's not the amount of media attention I'm talking about or mainstream media attention. I'm talking about as a prospect. Trevor Lawrence is considered a perfect prospect. He does have, including mobility, right? Like stuff that even Peyton didn't have. Size, pedigree. He's won a national championship. And he did it in a blowout, right, as a young player. The year after Deshaun Watson, by the skin of his teeth, in a blowout, was with surgical precision, has done things like thrown interceptions the next year and then chased down guys in the open field and tackled them. He is a football player with size, speed, and arm, intelligence, pedigree, championship, the whole thing. Let's put it this way. Everyone agrees there hasn't been a prospect like this on paper since at least Andrew Luck. You got to go back like a decade. There's more pressure on Trevor Lawrence.
Well, Max, I'm going to disagree. I think there's more pressure on Urban Meyer. If you think about, number one, the college coach coming to the NFL, you think about a guy that's been out of the profession for a few years. And on top of that, when he gets back in, he's trying to do things from an unconventional standpoint. He's already made some mistakes, some would say. If you look at the hiring of the strength coach, Chris Doyle, who ultimately had to turn around and that guy had to resign, the controversial signing of Tim Tebow. So he's trying to do things differently than the norm. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you come in and you upset the apple cart, especially when you are a very successful coach on a collegiate level, there's a lot of pressure on you because people want to know, very similar to Nick Saban, can you get it done at the professional level? Nick Saban couldn't get it done. Nick Saban went back to college, and he's one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest college coach of all time. So Urban Meyer is trying to do something that even the great Nick Saban could not do, which is succeed on a professional level. To me, if that's not pressure, then what is? On top of that, he's coming to an organization that got to the precipice of going to the Super Bowl, less than 5 or 6 years ago when they lost the game in the AFC Championship game in New England, and it's been downhill since then. So they've seen from a talent standpoint what it takes. They tore it back down under his guidance, and now they're trying to build it back up, and he handpicked his quarterback. So if you look at Urban Meyer, the greatest college coach of all time, some would say, based on his record, if you look at what he did, he came to the National Football League, he handpicked his quarterback, he's doing things from an unconventional standpoint. If that doesn't say pressure to me, Max Kellerman, then what does it say? He's under the most pressure, way more than Trevor Lawrence, especially if we're saying that the rookie quarterbacks are going to struggle anyway, like we talked about in the previous segment with Zach Wilson. So Trevor Lawrence isn't under any pressure right now. It's all on Urban Meyer's shoulders.
Booger McFarland, for the first time that you've been on the show, I'm actually going to accuse you of being a bit unfair. I really think that you're actually unfair in what you just said. And let me explain why that is. Number one, let's understand something.
Please do.
Let's understand something here. Long term, when you look at Urban Meyer, he may be the one under the most pressure. Not immediately. The immediate pressure is on Trevor Lawrence. Okay? And the reason why I'm accusing you of being unfair, you know good and damn well, don't say he handpicked Trevor Lawrence. If Urban Meyer had passed on picking Trevor Lawrence, he'd have been the first coach in NFL history fired before he coached the game. He got fired. He got fired the night after the draft or the night of the draft. He had no choice but to draft. There's no way in hell Urban Meyer could have drafted anyone else but Trevor Lawrence with all the hype coming out. Shad Khan and ownership for Jacksonville Jaguars, they'd have fired him before he coached the damn practice. It's just that simple, okay? And you know better than that, Booger. So he didn't have a choice. Trevor Lawrence is probably why he took the job to begin with. But taking the job, Trevor Lawrence was going to be the number 1 overall pick. We all knew that, okay? Now, if you're Urban Meyer, be clear, you playing with house money. Y'all were 1-15 last year. You got to build this ultimate team sport. You got offense, defense, special teams. You got a 53-man roster. You got about 85, 90 people in camp. You got a practice squad. You got all of this other stuff. You got to pull together. You're a rookie head coach on a professional level. You got a rookie quarterback. Ain't no Jalen Ramsey's there anymore or anybody, Leonard Fournette or anybody like that. Those days have gone. Calais Campbell as well. Those days have come and gone. They all gone, okay? So you're literally building from the ground up with a team that went 1-15 last year. I think when you look at Urban Meyer, What we're going to look for is the development of Trevor Lawrence, and we're going to see what you're building. And as long as you win a few more games, I think that you'll be fine. Long term, the pressure's going to be meaning year 2, year 3, year 4. That would be on Urban Meyer. But this season, right here, right now, from opening tap, we're going to expect to see some special things from Trevor Lawrence. Maybe not that's going to generate wins immediately, but we're going to need to look at that quarterback and see a distinct difference between him and Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, even Mac Jones.
And keep in mind,
you're going to expect to see those differences. That's what we're going to be looking for.
Keep in
that
mind,
ain't about Urban Meyer. That's about Trevor Lawrence.
Trey Lance it could easily take over. Garoppolo gets hurt a lot, and Trey Lance could take over an excellent team with a great offensive head coach. Real quick, Booger, we all know what the pressure is on Trevor Lawrence. It's that man right there. It's that man on the split screen right there. Let me tell you the line. I'm anticipating it already. Don't let Trevor Lawrence have more shampoo commercials than wins, because that will be the line that you hear on this show.
Right,
more
Max.
shampoo commercials than wins.
That was good. You're right.
But we all know. Know he's going to be the number one product pusher for shampoo. Ain't no question about that. Ain't no every hair commercial. I don't know if any other athlete will get a hair commercial other than Trevor Lawrence. I don't think they will.
Hey, listen, Stephen. Hey, let me turn the. Listen. Turn the volume down in your voice so you can hear me real quick. How long has Urban Meyer been out of coaching? Urban Meyer was out of coaching a long time. So when I say he handpicked Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer chose this year to come back knowing that Trevor Lawrence was coming out in the draft. So did he handpick him per se, saying that there was somebody else that he could have drafted number 1 overall? No, he didn't. But Urban Meyer could have got back in coaching a long time ago. Urban Meyer is on record as following Trevor Lawrence's career, so he timed his arrival to the pro game up the year that Trevor Lawrence came out. Do we think that was by coincidence?
No.
I don't believe in coincidences, Stephen A. Smith. That is timed up perfectly by Urban Meyer. So that's what I mean by he handpicked him.
Okay, fair enough. That's what you meant.